Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do you good? Like you good? Do your thing. Okay, boom. Welcome back to another episode of Making It Look Easy, where we talk about traveling the world and balancing life. I am your host, Champagnepopppa, and every guest is a special guest. But today's guest is a very, very unique individual. Traveled to 14 different countries, well studied in business, religion, philosophy, founder of Rabbani Herbs, been in the herbal medicine industry damn near 10 years, Georgia State University alumni's very own. On the other side of the world right now in China, as we speak, holding it down for Atlanta, Georgia, Miss Santi Rabbani. Everything smooth. This is way smoother. Yeah, nah, this is way smoother. Matter of fact, everything already going, so we could just start back where we left off. I can get that other recording later, so it's pretty
Okay.
decent like that. So yeah, we good. So sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone. We've been having some
Sorry,
issues.
y'all.
Yes, but let's start back where we left off. So what started you on your journey abroad?
So, sorry.
You good?
So, as I mentioned before, I started my first international travel in when I was 16 years old. I studied in Egypt for about a month and a half, and I traveled to different parts of Egypt, Cairo, Aswan, which is southern Egypt, and Luxor,
Mm-hmm.
which is where you get the name luxurious from. And it was definitely a luxurious place to be. And once I was traveling and studying there, I was actually studying about ancient Kemetic Nubian Egyptians, so like the real authentic Black Egyptians, not the ones that were um for lack of a better words, let's say diluted by the Arabs.
Right.
So I was studying that, and from that point it really just sparked my wanting to see the world. And I'm a true believer that you gain a lot of creative knowledge through travel. When your eyes can see different things, it cultivates another type of mind. So I've been taught that at a young age, and it's just always motivated me to go see the world.
So Egypt was your first trip out the
E-
country.
Egypt was my first trip out the country.
That's interesting. Rome was my first trip, and so everything you just said, it made it resonates with me because when I first went out and seen a little bit of history, it made me want to go. And then it inspired my mind to start thinking a lot differently. Um, but you ended up in China though.
Yes. So yeah, I ended up in China. So like, okay, after that trip to Egypt, I was going into my senior year of college. I mean, senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
After my senior year of high school, and I'm in university. My first school was in New Jersey, and I was living in New Jersey. So when I came home for the summer, I decided I was going to take a Euro trip. So when that college refund check come in, that refund check hit, and it
Yeah.
hit big. It hit big because it sponsored my whole trip to Europe. So
Right.
I was vibing in Europe.
By
That's what.
yourself?
I went with a homegirl at the time. They say that you learn a lot about people when you travel with them. But let's just say, long story short, I hope she's well, but we don't really communicate we don't really communicate anymore. But it was a great experience, and it was a fantastic time just seeing the different cultures and like seeing things that you may see in magazines or see on National Geographic, but seeing it with your own eyes, it's a totally different experience. Like traveling is something that like you can't really tell people, like you can tell people about your experience, but in a lot of times it's like it's an experience that has to be felt on your own, you know?
I know
So
exactly what you're talking about.
you know, because you could describe everything like, yeah, this was great, but it's like you really gonna feel the impact of that experience once you're there yourself. So I'm such a spokesperson for young people to get out and see the world and move past their highway city lines for sure.
Yeah, nah, it's funny you say that because when we talking about getting out of there and moving past some city lines, I think it's easy for us to make moves to like maybe the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, Cancun.
Yeah.
Um, Everybody wants to go to like Italy and Egypt and places like that. I've been to those places as well, but you in China though, you in China.
Okay, so
Not
let me
too
tell
many
you the story
people.
how I got here. Let me tell you how I
Yeah,
let me tell
we
you how
want
I
to
got here.
know.
Okay, so I just graduated university. This is the summer of 2018. I just graduated university and I'm like, okay, I went through a lot of different career phases. I was in the dental industry. I had my own teeth whitening business. It was going really good for me, but I was like, I know that there's more that I want to seek and I want to do. And I've, like I said, I've always been in like the holistic herbal business. Like growing up, my family were extremely holistic. In our house, you could never find any Tylenol, no type of pain meds. Like it was always a natural tea or some type of herb to heal you if you were feeling sick. And so I've
Hmm.
always been around that type of energy my entire life. And I made it my own lifestyle as a young adult. So I always loved the Asian culture growing up. I always loved the Asian culture. I learned how to use chopsticks when I was about 10 years old. So I'm feeling real like I'm feeling real a part of it in my own
Right.
head. These people don't know that. So one day I called a really close friend. We've been friends since like all of high school. And I called a really close friend. I was like, hey, what you doing? You want to go grab some food? And he tells me, hey, I moved to Saudi Arabia. I'm like, what do you mean you moved to Saudi Arabia? He was like, yeah, I moved to Saudi Arabia. I'm teaching English out here. And I was like, you didn't tell nobody? He was like, yeah, I didn't want anybody to like interfere on my moves. And I was so inspired by that. And I was like, damn, I want to do something like that. I want to go out the country and teach. So he put me on game of like where to go, like where to put my resume and everything like that. So I'm a type of person like when I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. And if I'm blessed to get some type of advisory on how to do it and where to do it, I'm gonna follow just that because clearly you did something that worked. So I'm gonna do the same thing. So I was so inspired by my friend who's living in Saudi Arabia right now, just up and left Atlanta. It was like to the hell with everybody. And I went ahead and posted my resume on this travel abroad teaching website. And Walt Disney wound up finding my resume. And Walt Disney here in China, well, after COVID, they kind of closed their schools, but they used to have a variety of teaching schools out here in China where they will teach students English, but they integrated technology and like the creativeness of all of the Disney characters and Disney movies. So, um, that's how I first came to China was through Walt Disney English program, and I was an educator in their program. And when I first came, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect. I've never been to China. I'm going to be living in a bush somewhere. I'm not going to have no type of like modernization of like what America is. And when I came here, my mind was completely blown away. Like,
Let's talk about it.
oh my gosh,
Let's
like
talk about it.
when I got here, it was like I was like, holy shit, like
What year was this? What year was this?
this was in 2018.
So we in 2024, y'all, and she talking about. So you've been out there since 2018.
So I've been out back and forth since 2018. Yep.
Okay. How is that? Let me ask you this. How many people tried to talk you out of going to China? Because I'm gonna say this. Let me just say this. When I found you and I saw that you was living in China, I was like, whoa, I was instantly interested in knowing like what your experience is like, because everybody wants to travel the world, but don't nobody talk about going to China.
This is true, especially not Black people.
Don't nobody talk about going to China, especially Black people. So seeing you in China and living pretty comfortably, I'm like, yeah, I got to holler at her, and you know,
Yeah,
because it's okay.
so yes, my family was like, so my family is real supportive. Number one, they're
Right.
very supportive, but this one was like for the books. You know, they know that I'm adventurous in my own right, and I'm a free spirit. But when I told them that I was moving to China, they honestly couldn't believe that I was moving to China. Like, everybody was like, okay, yeah, it's an idea, it's a plan. But when my suitcases were packed and I was
Pat.
heading to the airport, then they were like, oh, she really moving to China. My grandmother, rest her soul, she was like, don't go. She said,
Yeah.
she was like, please don't go. I was like, Grandma, I'm already going. Like, it's already, flight is already booked. Okay, suitcase is already there. My dad, he was very nervous to the extent where he
Right.
said,
Right.
my dad was very nervous, but he said, I'm going with you. So my daddy came to China with me when I first got here in
Hey,
2018.
that's real. So he booked this flight last minute and was like, I'm going. Hey.
I'm going, and he took my little brother so he can have an experience as
Right.
well. So my dad and my little brother came because my dad was like, I need to know where you're living. I need to know where your job is. Like, I'm not about to have my baby girl move across the entire country and I have no idea where she is.
Exactly.
So he came with me the first time, and it was great because even though in some parts of the trip I was like overly stressed and probably acting like a brat, I needed his support to be there. Like, I knew I caught like probably 25 attitudes, but my dad, he was so patient and he was so kind and just like, listen, I know this is big for you, because it was a lot of emotions. Like, yes, I wanted to go, but also the emotional side of like, damn, I'm really leaving my friends and family. I'm literally picking up my life and starting over to a place that I've never been before, never visited before. And I'm literally just going off of the faith that this is going to be good for me. And, I'm literally embarking on a completely unknown journey and like, following the spiritual lead that wherever I go, God is going to take me to a place that I can learn something, that I could benefit, and then I can evolve myself. So I just took that and my suitcases and got the hell on. But let me tell you, at the airport, so my dad saw all my suitcases. He was so mad. He was like, why are you taking all this stuff? This man literally started unpacking my suitcases and started taking stuff out of my suitcase. I said, why are you doing that? He's like, you're packing like a barbarian. You have too much stuff. But as soon as we got to China and he saw all those foreigners with 6 and 7 suitcases, he was like, oh, maybe you didn't pack too much stuff. I was like, yeah, I know what I was doing. But anywho, having my dad there on this experience was really great. It was a learning opportunity for my dad as well. And it gave my dad an opportunity to step outside of the United States again. And I was happy to experience that 2 weeks with him in another country and my little brother helping me embark on this new life journey. It was a great moment for all of us that I know that we will never forget. So that was my beginning to China. And from there, like, I fell in love with it. Like, China is so above America when it comes to the technology, the integration of technology. I mean, just imagine Los Angeles. And I say Los Angeles because of the weather, the palm trees, the like tropical vibes.
You live in California too?
Yes.
I knew me and you had a deeper connection than what I knew that. I'm Dago all day.
Okay. So I'm LA. I'm LA all day. I'm an LA girl. Atlanta raised, born and raised, but LA girl for
Texas
sure.
raised, but California, yeah.
California taught me some stuff.
Taught us a whole lot. You know what? I ain't gonna lie. I like people like you. Real pioneers of the game. And I'm so glad that you were on here today because you're going to be able to help a lot of people that want to travel alone. Because you've been to 14 other countries. I mean, we could talk all day about Vietnam, Thailand. Everybody that I have on here, they talk about Thailand, Costa Rica, Iceland, London, Italy, Amsterdam, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dubai, Vietnam. But out of all the places, you're the only person that I know right now that knows about China.
Yeah.
And
China.
for you to be on here and just, basically taking, some game that you got from somebody else and applying it and thriving in it, that's what this show is all about. Because there's a lot of people that want to travel and they are afraid to, and they don't know where to start. But with people like you coming on, you giving them a boost of energy in order to get that going. Because I don't know, I mean, even for myself as a man, I'm really going to do some deep thinking and a lot of strategizing before I even go visit China. But you went and moved to China.
Yeah.
And you've been there how many years?
On and off for 6 years.
On and off for 6 years. So what you like about China that much for you to be out there for 6 years?
Honestly, I love. Oh, okay. So I love China on an energetic level. Here, I just feel the real essence of freedom. And I know America is like, that's their slogan. Like, this is the land of the dream. This is where freedom resides. And honestly, that's all cap and some bullshit. Because you, it is. It ain't nothing but some lies.
Ain't not real talk.
It ain't nothing but some lies. Like, they still in the same marketing strategy from the day the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. Okay.
Is it still recording on your end? It's still recording, right?
It's still recorded, yes.
Where is it at? What minute?
18 minutes and 18 seconds.
Okay, bet. Cool.
So 18. So yeah, so China just really gives me this freedom. And I say that because when you're a foreigner here, right, there are certain things that just don't really apply to you. Yes, I live in a communist country. Yes, they're very strict government. Yes, there are a lot of things that I'm like, what the hell's going on. But as a foreigner, I'm not really obligated to a lot of things. And since I'm not here causing any trouble, I'm not here trying to create uproar or political protest or anything like that. I'm here to do my business. I'm here to live. I'm here to gain experience about their culture and to respect their culture as well. I can move here. I can move around so freely, and it is the safest place I've ever been in my entire life.
Safer than Dubai?
Safer than Dubai. When I tell you people could literally walk around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, there's no crime. There's no crime here. And sometimes I have to remind myself when I go to other countries that, hold up, you are not in China. You cannot just take a stroll at night in the middle of the park. You can't just go walk into the grocery store at whatever time. Or no, China is one of the safest places. And this is something that is felt by majority of foreigners here in China. Like, it is so safe. I mean, yes, they have security cameras everywhere, but okay, that's fine, because guess what? If anything was to happen, they're going to find you in 2.5 seconds. So if you're not here trying to start no trouble, you're going to live a very easy life. And then on top of that, China is 70% cheaper in living expenses. Like, I can take, for example, I could take $20. $20 here is 142 or 24 yuan, RMB, which is their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between $124 and $142, you can buy you a week's worth of groceries. Let's just put that into perspective. Okay, and I'm talking meats, produce, bread, vegetables, fruits, a variety. A week's worth of vegetables. I mean, a week's worth for $20.
For $20 for how long?
A week's worth of groceries with a mixture of meats, milks, bread, vegetables, fruits. I mean, you could do the whole pyramid, the whole food chain, right?
So basically what you're telling me is that I need to book a flight to China. That's basically what you're saying. That's basically what you said. You said I need to book a flight to China.
I'm telling you, and then the opportunity here. So
Let's talk about that.
So I live in southern China, right? Southern China is right next to Hong Kong. I'm about 45 minutes on a fast train to Hong Kong. And let's say a flight is no more than an hour, right? So Guangzhou, China is the manufacturing hub of the world.
Where is this at? What's the name of it?
Guangzhou, China.
Guangzhou, China.
Guangzhou. So people from all around the world, I mean all around the world, come here to create, buy, and manufacture goods. And I mean all types of goods, from tables to doors to doorknobs to bolts to hair to clothes to shoes to shoestrings to cups to glasses to lip gloss to eyelashes to whatever you can think of is being made here. So when you come from a place like America and you really got a hustle mentality and an entrepreneurship mentality, you come here, you're in a candy shop of opportunity. Prices are dirt cheap. You don't need a middleman if you come here yourself and you go shop the markets and you go see what's there. You are literally like, you can create your own opportunity here. And I wish that more young Black professionals were to come here to see for themselves that, listen, whatever you can think of and you could create, you can get it made here. You can get it made here no matter what it is, or you can source it from here. So me living here, it's just like I'm in a plethora of opportunity. Now, I'm not going to say, unfortunately, it's like a bittersweet situation for me because I'm currently a full-time teacher here. So my time is occupied with teaching my students. So I don't really have the full luxury as I'm about to adjust to the full luxury of shopping the markets every day and sourcing items. But when you are here, hint to the wise, Americans, you get a 10-year visa. So you pay $350 at the Chinese consulate, whatever in your city. They got Washington, D.C., Los Angeles. They had one in Houston, Texas, but they closed it down after COVID. They got one in Georgia. You go to the Chinese consulate, you pay $350 for your visa. It lasts you for 10 years. You leave in and out every 60 days. So you can hop right down to Hong Kong, be there for 5 minutes, go right back to China, renew your 60-day visa.
Because Hong Kong is more so like it's not really a part of China, but it.
So Hong Kong is like this little island that sits right directly at the tip of China. Like literally, this is how close they are, right? Between my nails, this is how close they are. But Hong Kong used to be colonized by the British back in the day. But then Britain gave Hong Kong, like released Hong Kong. And China was like, well, you're ours now. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you are now in the possession of China. And Hong Kong's like, no, we're fighting for our independence. Like, no, we're free now. So long story short, yes, they are owned. Technically, they're like owned by China, but they've been living under their own kind of laws and regulations for so long when they were dealing with the British. So China kind of lets them do their own thing, but not really.
I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. But you know what? You really got myself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of viewers lit right now. I know I'm lit off this wine, so I'm already ready. I'm already ready to pull up to China right now. The Great Wall of China. We'll get to Hong Kong in a minute, but the Great Wall of China, because that's like one of the biggest tourist attractions when we talk about China. I know that's somewhere I want to see. What was the first thought in your mind when you saw it?
So surprisingly, I've never saw the Great Wall of China.
You never saw the Great Wall of China?
No. So the Great Wall of China is in Beijing, and Beijing is northern China. And it's very, very cold there. Like, I mean, right now it's probably warm, so this is probably a good time to go travel. But then again, I'm a teacher full time, so I'm currently adjusting to get out of being a teacher so that I can actually utilize what I want to do here in China and see all the great things that China has offered. Because when you say China, you got to think of my city alone, which really is like a big ass state. My city alone has 25 million people. And that's only one of the multiple provinces that is here in China. China is big as hell. It's not bigger than Africa.
Right.
Let's show some respect. It ain't bigger than Africa. But China is huge. So you have to think like there is so much to discover in China. Like even in my city, like there's so many places that I want to go see that sometimes you can go to all the places here and still don't have time to go to the other cities. So Beijing is one of the places that I want to go to, but I want to go during the warmer weather. So like during the summer break when I'm out of teaching, that's one of the places I want to go see. But I do know a lot about like the history of like the Great Wall of China.
I do too. I know you're studying. I know what you've been studying.
But the Great Wall of China is actually, from what I've seen and what I've learned about, it is a monumental structure that should definitely be seen. And I'm adding it to my bucket list. But through certain historians, it's been said that the Great Wall of China wasn't just one complete wall built at the same time. It was individual walls that were created by what is called a feudal state. And a feudal state is basically a state, like, you know, a state like Georgia, Texas, stuff like that, like a state that's owned by the king. And the king owns all of that land. So these different states were creating this wall to kind of like protect each other from one another. Like, you're not gonna come over here and take my land, and they not gonna come over here and take my land. And then also there were a lot of nomad tribes that was traveling throughout these areas back in BCE, like around the year 2020 BCE. So this is like way before our time, right? So you have all these different like nomadic travelers and tribes all throughout China trying to conquer land and everything like that. And then you have these kings that are trying to protect their land. So they're making all these little walls. And then during 2020, I mean year 2020, not 2020, but 220.
Right.
The Han Dynasty came and he unified all of these different individualized feudal states ran by these individual kings. And his empire was the one that brought all of them together. So he basically like closed the gaps technically. And then it created this long wall, right? But
Yeah, that
surprisingly,
motherfucker is long.
it's long. Like, just imagine how long it is. Let's just say from if we look at the
From
United
California.
States, right? Yes, to like Georgia.
Yeah.
So and so then that shows you how big China is. If it's from California to Georgia and it's only in Beijing, this ain't coming across to Shanghai. This ain't coming across to Guangzhou, and they're all not too far from each other. Like, a flight from Guangzhou to Shanghai is 2 hours. A flight from Shanghai to Beijing is probably another 2 hours. So it's like, this is only in one city. That's a big ass wall.
That's a big ass wall.
And this is a big ass country.
Yo, if you thinking about traveling in China and you thinking about seeing the Great Wall, you don't even need a tour guide. Don't even waste your money. You just go ahead and just watch this video, share it, holler it. Hey, look, I showed you.
I'm the best tour guide. I'm the best tour guide because I'm gonna give you the real. I'm gonna show you the places that, you know, people ain't gonna show you. Like, my friend came out here. Shout out to my homegirl B Simone. She came out here to do some business, and I gave her like a little inner city tour of Guangzhou, and between her manager and her cameraman, they said that this was the best experience outside of the work that they had to do, because they really got a feel for what China was to offer. We got on the tut-tut little motorcycle bikes.
The little tut-tut. Are them the same ones in Thailand?
They're similar. Yeah, they're similar.
Yeah. I fuck with the tut-tuts. Hey, man, right here on Making It Look Easy, we got real travelers, like people that can only give you game from experience. Hong Kong, before we move subjects, Hong Kong, because I know people that have been to Hong Kong, and I heard a lot of great things about Hong Kong.
So my experience with Hong Kong is, I'm going to say it's rather short experiences. So I go to Hong Kong to renew my visa. Mm-hmm. So I'm going into Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is where you want to go, where like you want to get a lot of Western things. When China stops certain things from coming into the customs from America, it can go to Hong Kong easily. So if you want certain products, especially like beauty and skin products and stuff like that, people go to Hong Kong. Or if you want to get like the quality, quality foods and goods, you get them in Hong Kong, because China's known to make a lot. You know, they know how to make a lot of fake shit. I mean, fake wine, fake alcohol.
Viewers. Whoa.
Yeah, I'm about to bring you back a hot second.
Fake wine.
Fake wine, fake
alcohol.
Let me see
what's going on. All right, let's say California. We straight. Yo, we straight. Any advice for a traveler that's looking to travel to China, what advice would you give them?
Be open-minded to the culture. Be open-minded to the culture, because there are a lot of cultural shocks that even still to this day, I'm like, they need to get their shit together. Be open-minded to the culture. There are some things about the Chinese that they really don't know, because their government does close them out of a lot of things. But at the same time, don't allow that to fool you, because a lot of the Chinese will reside on the fact that, oh, people think that we don't know, because the real Great Wall of China is the cyber wall. That's the real Great Wall of China. It's the cyber restrictions that they have. We all have to use a VPN if we want to get on Instagram, Facebook, any of the social media apps. They only use not two real apps, but one of their biggest apps that they use out here is called WeChat. You can pay your bills. You can go on the internet. You can, your Apple Wallet basically is there. Everything is functioning off of this one app, right? So they don't really have a lot of outside accessibility, but they do. So with China, keep an open mind to the ignorance that is here. It's a lot of ignorance out here, unfortunately. A lot of staring at you, a lot of like, oh, why? Some people want to touch your hair, but teach some boundaries. No, because if you touch my hair, I'm gonna touch yours too. I'm gonna put my hands through your shit too. And you're gonna be looking at me crazy. I'm gonna be looking at you crazy. And we both gonna be looking at each other crazy. So you can understand that there are boundaries.
Right.
So, but one thing about Guangzhou, and I've heard this from other Asian people that live in China, is that Guangzhou has some of the best food, and I will definitely have to second that motion. My city has some of the best here. Like, there are people
This is Guangzhou?
Guangzhou, yes. People
That's where
travel
you
from
at?
That's where I'm at now. Some of the best food. So people travel from Beijing, they travel from Shanghai, and they come here to eat. They come here to eat and shop.
Hey, when I make my trip to China, because I will be making a trip, because everything that you're saying right now is making me want to, go against the status quo, because a lot of people don't really talk about China. A lot of people don't really, be like, you want to go to China? Like, nope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing, from what I've heard, like, there's nothing really touristy about China besides the Great Wall. But everything that you're saying on here is making, at least it's making me curious, and I'm ready to go. I know who to call now.
Yeah. I'm
Out
here.
of all the places that you've traveled, besides China, the best country outside of China that you traveled to?
Vietnam.
You know what? I knew you was gonna say that. No one on this, no one on this channel yet has talked about Vietnam. Can you give us a little bit of game?
But first, when people thought I was going to Vietnam, they thought I was going to a war-bearing country, because we all know about the Vietnam War, right?
Right.
No, Vietnam is beautiful. The people are so sweet there. They're so kind.
I've heard.
These are the darker Asians, because,
Mhm.
during the time of the Vietnam War, there were a lot of Black soldiers that integrated and had interrelationships with the Vietnamese women. So there are a lot of Malaysians out there. And just those who are not mixed, they're still the darker tan Asians. And I feel like they have a little bit more connection with, I'm not going to say African side, but African side, because they're not racist there. China can be definitely a little racist, because Chinese people, I have to see Chinese people nosy as hell. They'll be right in the back of my video.
I got you back. Don't worry.
Talking about what you talking about, but Chinese people can be very racist because they are trying to mimic the status quo of white Americans. Sometimes they're so far up the white man's ass, they can't even smell their own shit. But I love my Chinese people. These are for the ones that know are the racists. You know, y'all gotta deal with y'all shit. Y'all gotta deal with y'all shit, and I'm not here to teach everybody how not to be racist. You gotta educate yourself. Everybody's obligated to do their own work. But back to Vietnam. Vietnam is beautiful. It is a fortress. It has beautiful green velvet mountains. I went to what is called the Golden Hands. I don't know if you ever seen the pictures of those big hands that like sit in the mountain. I was able to see that, and I traveled there by myself. I am, but I'm a solo traveler, and I go with the protection of God. God takes me to places that I'm always protected, and I'm loved by the grace of God. So when I went to Vietnam, I got me a Uber driver, right? And it was this young guy from another village, and I asked him, I was like, "Hey, I'm here for 2 weeks. Can you be my personal driver?" And he was like, "Okay, cool." He didn't speak English. We're using a translator. He was like, "Okay, cool. You know, you pay me this," which was like $25 for the whole time. And he was like, "I'll be your driver." So he took me to all of the most beautiful places in Vietnam. We went to a city called Hanoi, where the Golden Hands are. No, Hanoi. And he took me to a fisherman's village. So these are all locals. We're driving up this mountain to go down to the beach. And I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I'm seeing.
And you by yourself.
I'm by myself, me and the driver.
Hey, look, can't nobody really understand the stories when you tell it to them, because it's like, this don't even matter. Like, doing this don't even matter. You more so just like, you know, because you're not seeing this on the gram.
No.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm so encapsulated by what I'm experiencing and what I'm seeing that sometimes I don't take video, and I don't capture the moment through the lens of my photo. Like, my eyes are my lens. Like, my brain also needs to take in memory. If I'm
Might need to get a GoPro.
Maybe I probably do, so I could just sit that up somewhere and I could still have my vibe, because I can't always do this. I can't always do this. Like, I'm cutting off the real vision between my eyes and my brain.
Right.
You know? So
right.
So I was able to have a seafood potluck. You know, when they had the crab broil? This was the original crab broil with the native Vietnamese people, like the fishermen people. And they welcomed me and they laid out all the and they were just like, "Oh my gosh, like, you're just so beautiful and so amazing." And they were just so nice to me. And I think this was the first time that they've ever seen a Black person or a Black American, because not too many foreigners go into this village. So just to have that experience with the locals, with the real locals, was a beautiful moment for me that I know I will never forget. The weather's nice, the beaches are nice there in Vietnam. And I also met some really close lifelong friends there, a few Africans that were visiting too, in the major city of what is the name of that city? Ho Chi Minh, or Saigon. Okay, so that's the name of the major city, but I traveled to like the rural side to see the natives and to eat some really good food. So Vietnam is my top other choice. I would live there.
Out of all the countries that you travel to, what is the country that women should be more cautious of when they travel to by themselves?
Does it have to be one?
Nah,
Okay.
list them all.
Okay.
That you've been to.
That I've been to.
Yeah.
Dubai.
Dubai?
I say this because when you do not familiarize yourself with the culture,
Okay.
whether people say something to you or not, there is a certain level of modesty you want to have in certain cultures. And people can say whatever they want to, but there's a certain type of modesty that you do want to have in certain cultures, because not everybody thinks of Western America, and not everybody has ever been. So you just can't impose your beliefs in somebody else's house. That's like going to somebody else and they ask you, "Can you take off your shoes?" And you like, "No, I'm not taking off my shoes." It's rude, it's disrespectful. You need to embrace certain culture aspects of the people so that you can also have an enjoyable time. Because when you show just a little ounce of respect to the people, they will lay out the red carpet for you, like here in
That's
China.
a fact. That's
Come
a fact.
on, because they know that you're from another country, but they see that you respect them. And with that level of respect, they're going to respect you 10 times fold. So Dubai is one of them on the modesty. As far as in actually traveling alone, because I traveled to Dubai alone and I was fine, but I'm also Muslim, so I knew kind of how to dress, especially in certain areas of traveling into Dubai. So I was able to acclimate a little differently. Jamaica, Dominican Republic, you want to be careful because sometimes there's a little bit aggressiveness with the men. And if you're looking like a lost traveler, or you just looking like you ain't got no friends, or you just really out there by yourself, you become a target in the sense of like, "Oh, come with me." Egypt was a little crazy too, because back in the day, Egypt, they were high on women trafficking, and somebody tried to traffic me when I was there when I was 16. I was at the pyramids, and one of the Arab guys were like, "Hey, come with me. I can show you the other part of the pyramid. No problem. It will be my treat." And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." And he just persisted on, like, he was so aggressive on me coming, almost like grabbed my arm to take me with him. And the people that I was with, one of the men from the group that I was traveling with, he like ran over there and was like, "Leave her alone. She's not going with you." Like it got a little crazy. So if a solo traveler in certain Middle Eastern countries, do your research. Know if they have high traffic in there, because there's a certain type of demeanor you want to have. You want to be serious. You want to look like you got a resting bitch face sometimes, so people don't take you as a easy, gullible target. You definitely don't want to have your headphones in, not being able to hear your surroundings. Have them in so nobody will bother you, but make sure that they're turned off. You never want to walk around the streets of certain foreign places just zoned out in your own world, because you may not be looking at other people, but I promise you there are other people looking at you.
She's saying it a whole lot better than me. I've been to Egypt twice, and everything you saying is an absolute fact. Even for a man, believe it or not. But hey, y'all better take notes because y'all getting some real story. What is the craziest travel story that you got? The crazy, no matter what place, no matter how crazy. Look, if you go crazy, I'll even share a crazier
Let me
story.
see a crazy one. Ugh.
A crazy one.
Okay, well, it's not really that crazy, but
Now I gotta be really crazy.
I'm trying to see. Okay, so my mind kind of went to the left with this situation. So I don't know if it's crazy or did I just make it seem crazy.
I want you to get deep in your bag. Look,
Let me see.
we grown. Let's see what you got, cause I got some crazy stories, but this ain't about me though.
I mean, honestly, outside of like almost getting trafficked in Egypt, that was really wild. Okay, let me say. Okay, so this was one experience that I had in China that made me like cry. I was crying and I wanted to go home after this, but I didn't allow it to. I didn't allow it to like discourage me.
Right.
It made me want to do better. So
Right.
so this is my first year in China, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving the club and I still don't know how to like operate the taxis. So I get into a taxi and the club is not that far from my house. So I'm telling the taxi driver like where I need to go. At the time, I wasn't aware that the taxi driver was like trying to get somebody else in my taxi with me and like get more money because from the club to my house, that's only like 12 RMB, right? 12 RMB in US dollars is like $1.75 or $2 for this ride. So he's like kind of posted up at the club still, and I'm like, I'm ready to go home. Like it's 5 in the morning, it's 4 in the morning. I'm ready to go home because here in China, when you party out here, you don't get started until 3 a.m. You don't get started till 3 a.m. You go home at 10 a.m. So I got started early because that's like partying with the Africans. The Africans don't come outside until 3 a.m. We leaving when the sun is up. We going straight to breakfast. Then everybody going home.
Right.
But this time I was partying with like some other foreigners. They're coming from Europe. They're Chinese. So we've been out since like 12. Now it's 4. I'm ready to go home. Get into the taxi man kind of coasting around. So then he invite this man into my car. And I'm like, no, and I'm trying to communicate like, no, I need a single ride, but clearly he don't understand me and I damn sure don't understand him. So the man is in my damn taxi, right? So I'm trying to go home and this Russian man is in the front seat. Uh-oh. Okay. The Russian man is in the front seat, like trying to talk to me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk. He's like, give me your number. I'm like, no, I don't. He definitely seemed like he was high on some type of drug because he was so aggressive. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just trying to get home. So then out of nowhere, this man started cussing me out. He started cussing me out. Oh my God, it was just so terrible. He started cussing me out and telling me to give him my address to my house so that he could give it to the Chinese man. At this point, I don't trust nobody. The damn taxi driver kicked me out of the damn taxi in the middle of the night. And I had to walk home. And this was my first like few months being in China, and I still don't know where nothing is. And then at the time, my GPS wasn't really working. So even though like now that I know where to go, like I know my city like I know Atlanta, right? So now that I know where to go, it was like I was like this far from my house, but I didn't know. So I'm like walking in circles. I'm trying to figure out where the hell I'm at. Nobody speak English. I'm just like so frustrated. My friends are not answering the phone because I went home early. My other friends, they still partying, so they don't hear me calling. So I finally make it home and I just boo-hoo cried because not only did I feel scared, this was the first time I ever felt scared being in China. And then it wasn't really because of the Chinese. It was because of the other man that was like being so aggressive to me, cursing at me, everything. And I was like, it just made me want to learn Chinese even more. So even though for somebody that may not be like a serious situation, but for as a woman traveling by herself,
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
kicked out of a car in the middle of the night, not
yeah.
being able to speak the language, trying to navigate how to get back home, like it was too much for me. And I just went home and I cried and I almost befriended my friends because I'm like, how did y'all not make sure that I made it home safe? I came here with y'all. I don't know where to go. Y'all been here for 3 years. But that's why trying to learn the language, even if it's a little bit of survival language, it will take you a long way. Knowing how to, those simple directions, keep straight, make a left, make a right, stop, things like that is very important. Knowing how to count, certain things like that. So that was my most frustrating and wild experience that kind of had me like second guessing, do I want to live here? But I couldn't allow that one experience to trump all of the good things that I was experiencing here in China. So what I learned from that was, girl, you better learn some damn Chinese so you can know how to maneuver through the city. So that's what I'm doing. Now I can get in the taxi. I'm good. I'm straight. I ain't worried about that no more. But honestly, from that experience, I really don't ride taxis because the taxi driver will purposely get you lost so they can make more money. Or they'll
And that's
purposely,
like many other countries.
yes.
That's like many other countries. They will do the same thing.
So as women, do your research beforehand. Learn, like, know if these countries have Uber apps or something closer. Download them before you go, because sometimes when you get into that country, your service may not acclimate that easy. But if you download it before you get there, the app is already on your phone. You already done add your credit card to the app. So now when you're in these countries, you open up that app, it's gonna put you where your location is. You got your location, boom, boom, boom. You ain't gotta worry about no taxi. I am not for taxis as a single driver. I mean, as a single traveler. I don't do taxis. As a woman,
For any
hell no.
country. For any country.
Any country.
For
When I
any
went to
country.
Vietnam, when I went to Vietnam, I downloaded their app Grab. When I went to Thailand, Grab, Bolt.
Yeah. Hey. I'm already knowing.
So I had the apps already on my phone. When I went to Thailand, same thing. Get you a SIM card while you're there.
Get you the SIM card before you leave the airport.
Get you a SIM card. Because when I tell you that service will kick your ass when you ain't got none.
Nah. You gotta get that on SIM card. Expeditiously. Shit. That's, if you don't listen to anything, do that.
I'm telling you, I would suggest getting a SIM card before you exchange money. Get you a SIM card before you exchange money. That's the first thing you need to do.
Speaking about communication, what is dating life like abroad?
It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing.
That motherfucker gotta be something. She in 6 years in China. You ain't.
Let me say this. Okay. You can meet nice people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can meet nice people. There could be connections, but for me, I like Black people. I like Black people. Whether it's African American or African, I like Black men. So I never dated Asian. I never dated outside. Now, I'll say this: if my linguistics, my ability to speak Chinese was better, I done came across some fine Chinese. But since my communication isn't there and their communication isn't there, it's just kind of like a lost world, right? It's certain territories you just don't cross over because how you gonna really communicate?
Right.
But with the African men that I realized who live here in China, it's like there's an unspoken idea that this city is not a real place. People come here. So this is why I'm happy that I know who I am and I am who I am, and that I have lived life and I'm not a girl who never had nothing. So I've always had something, God bless. But you have people who come here and they come here to create a new identity for themselves. Like, who you are here is not who you are back at home. Okay. And a lot of them come here try to read. And sometimes when you go to a certain place, you may want to, I don't know, have a new identity. That's not me. I am who I am everywhere I go. Right. But some of them come here and they may be here for like 15 years. They already been here for 10 years. But this is like a place where people come and party, where they come and work, they leave, they go back to their home country, even though you've been here for 10 years. But you got men here who are like 50, 60 years old, lying about their age, saying they 32 in the club, trying to be a young nigga. Like,
hey, are the passport bros out there in China?
Passport bros?
Are they out there in China?
If they are, they done got passports where they're lying about their age. Cause baby, you is not 32 looking 62. Look at my passport. Look at my passport. You know, Africans, they could finesse.
You know, you know what I mean when I said passport bros. That's the name they give us. Niggas that be traveling abroad and they meet women.
Yeah.
And I think it's a misconception.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
let
just
me
want
tell
to know
you,
if it's out there in China.
the passport bros is an ongoing lifestyle here in Guangzhou.
Explain.
So it's like you got guys coming here from other countries, right? They be here like, oh, I'm just visiting. I'm here to do some business. Like, can I get your number? Can I take you out? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm just like, no, nigga, no. Like, for me, this is where I live. I'm just not about to be hopping and bopping because you in town for the weekend. I don't give a damn if you was in town for a few hours. It's not my speed. I'm okay. But the other thing is that there are a lot of girls here that never been outside. They fresh off the boat from their village. They come in here to go to school. They ain't never been to the club. They never lived by themselves. So you got a lot of people that this is their first time being free. And they is wilding out. They wilding out. I'm like, listen, baby, I done did all of that when I was 16, 18. I'm 30 years old. I'm retiring from a lot of scenes. Catch me if you can. I may go to the club once out the month. Like, catch me at a restaurant. That's where you're gonna find me. Catch me somewhere sipping some tea somewhere. Catch me at the spa. But no, Now when I first came here, I'm definitely catching the vibes because I need to see where my people at. I need to see where, are the Black people here, where they at? Because I'm trying to find my community too. But I quickly caught on that the passport bros be niggas that be living here for 10 years and they be lying, talking about they just got in town and all of this type of stuff. But I don't care. I don't care about none of that because no, thank you. No, thank you.
I never heard of the passport bros being out there in China, and the reason why I say passport bros, because anytime motherfuckers see a Black man with a passport in any Asian country, they automatically, by default, a passport bro. And it's like,
well, the Africans are passport bros too. The African men are super passport bros.
I don't want to be deemed as a passport. So when I went to Thailand, I didn't go out there to Thailand for no pussy. You know what I'm saying?
Thailand was a weird ass experience for me. Bangkok, I'm never going back. You could never invite me to Bangkok ever.
Hold on. You don't like Thailand?
I didn't say I didn't like Thailand. I gotta go to another part of Thailand. But
where have you been in Thailand?
I only went to Bangkok. Like I stayed
Oh, you only
there.
went to Bangkok?
Yes, it was.
Oh, shit. See, you don't even know what you missing.
Spare me. No, but I'm going back. I'm going back because I'm going to Phuket. I'm going to the other little islands that sit on the coast of Bangkok. I want to go to what's this other place called? It's called
Chiang Mai.
Chiang Mai, and then there's another Pattaya.
I take Pattaya. I
Mm-hmm.
stayed in Pattaya. Let me tell you, just a little real quick. I recommend Pattaya, and
That's where I was at.
then Phuket. I got a plug for you in Phuket. So
Okay.
you spurt. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
talk about that later. And then Chiang Mai, never been. Pattaya though.
It's beautiful.
I'm gonna
It's
have to
beautiful.
I'm gonna have to put you on game. I recommend Pattaya. You go to Phuket 5-6 days max. Leave it alone. Pattaya is where you want to be at.
And that's what I know. I know because I had a friend. So I have a friend out there. I don't know if they moved back, but they were there before they moved to Bangkok, right? So, oh, I got like anybody that is interested in teaching overseas, I got the plug. I got the recruiters that have different networks throughout. So if you got your bachelor's degree or your master, or you're looking to teach English, like I got plugs for that. So
I
however
should
for
be
that to do.
charging. I should be charging my subscribers for this game right here.
You know, for the
Cause they
first
they
time,
gonna
you
be
know, it's a
bullshitting.
crowd.
They
Listen,
gonna be
listen, it's a
bullshitting. They
crowd.
not gonna hit you up. Hey, look, y'all need to hit her up for real. If y'all really trying to travel and get out the U.S.
And make
and
some
not just
money.
be talking about it and make some money and actually experience some shit, I'm gonna leave
Yes.
her IG. Matter of fact, how can we support you? Because you have a detox company that's doing
Yes.
very well.
Yes, so I have a herbal detox business where I specialize in herbal teas that help detox the body, as well as a specialized handcrafted detox oil that you use in the bath to remove impurities from the skin, and toxins and heavy metals out of the skin. As you can see, you know, glowy skin. I use my detox
Yes,
oil. I use my
yes.
detox oil daily. But right now, being that I'm in China, there are a lot of restrictions when it comes to natural products. So I currently am not selling anything right now, being that I'm in China. But when I do go back to America, I am setting up and restructuring my business where I'm able to have a smoother production line. So as of now, you can support me by following me on Instagram and just embracing yourself in the knowledge that I'm going to be sharing with people, which will all be free game. I will have subscriptions that you can pay for to get, you know, special techniques on how to detox your body, what herbs you can use to detox your body, as well as consultations. I do wellness consultations. You express to me what's going on with your body, what ailments that you're fighting, diseases that you're fighting. And I have a plethora of doctors and different holistic doctors in different cities in the US, as well as myself as a detox coach. I will help you with different herbs and supplements and methodologies that you can use to detox your body and, you know, function at your highest capacity.
Um, when I first saw you, that was the first thing I looked at, and I was like, "Oh, healthy living, healthy lifestyle."
Yes.
And she travels,
Yes.
and she's in China, y'all. Gotta keep that in mind too. You do a little bit of everything. You're a real pioneer to us
Thank,
solo travelers, for real.
thank, thank
Like
you.
a lot of
It's our
people, yes,
community. We're in a community
this is
together.
the making it look easy community, making traveling look easy to those who think that it's so expensive and so hard, but really it ain't. Because like a lot of people I talk to, they talk about they like they want to travel and stuff. They be walking around like $high-dollar shoes on.
And
I'm
that's
just
your
like,
flight. That's your flight. You got your
that's a
flight on your
flight.
feet. And then once
That's
you
an
get there,
Airbnb for 1 month. You go to Thailand.
because
Real
once you
talk.
get there, the food gonna be cheap. The activities gonna be reasonable. The only expensive thing is your flight. Your visa may be $20, $50, $100 max.
You real talk. You only got to pay for that one. Listen,
one time.
not everybody's gonna get it, but for those that are watching and that are inspired and that are ready to travel, share this video,
Yes.
like this video.
Yes.
Where can the viewers find you? Where can we know and support you
You
at?
can find me on Instagram and TikTok, same name, Santi Rabbani. That's SANTI, Santi Rabbani, RABB as in baby, ANI. So that's my name. So you can find me on my social media platforms and Facebook as well. Same name across the board. Try to keep things consistent. Santi Rabbani.
Why you ain't got no YouTube channel? All this beautiful game you sharing, all this vibrant energy that you have. Like, you should be out here sharing it to everybody else. Shit.
I
And you
am.
got
I'm gonna listen, I got work to do. Let me tell you, I got work to do. So I got some things in motion. So I'm happy to be on this platform because it's just another motivation for me to just get out there. I still gotta be comfortable with like talking to a screen and there's nobody else that I'm talking to. I'm like talking to myself. So I try to practice by getting on live because, you know, I'm a 93 baby. We didn't grow up with social media. You know what I'm saying? Social
You
media came
93?
late. I'm 93. So
Okay.
social media came,
Baby,
you
I'm
know,
92. We right
okay.
there.
So you understand that, you know, social media came when we was in high school, in college, and stuff like that.
MSN.
You know, exactly. It's the messenger,
Yeah.
MySpace, but we was all older. We didn't have it in the beginning of our developmental skills.
Right.
So there's certain things even to this day that I still got to get comfortable with, like talking to a screen.
Talking to a screen.
Talking to a screen is kind of wild to me even still, but I'm not gonna be behind. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting myself more comfortable with being on camera and talking to the screen by getting on live. So, you know, check
But you
me out
know,
on live.
what happened with this is that I got so much travel content, is crazy. And I was intentionally making content to be able to share, but I had a very hard time with talking to the camera and having to restart. And I'm like, I don't like how I said that, I don't like how I did that. Some people got a natural gift for it, but I know so many world travelers, and I have conversations with a lot of world travelers, and the conversations we have, I'm just like, we got to be able to share this with people that want to travel.
Yeah.
Just having an ear and coming into our conversations, and them being able to say, you know what, okay, I got the confidence enough, I'm gonna book this ticket. People that are indecisive, like, I don't know if I want to go this place or this place. They watch this video, okay, boom, I'm gonna book this ticket, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I know what to look out for. Look, male solo traveler, female solo traveler, both tell you to book that ticket.
Yes.
As a woman, it is safe if you play it safe. If you plan accordingly and move strategically, and if you're on that bullshit, drinking and being out in public, you might want to cut that out right now and go ahead and just, live in the moment when you're traveling, because you don't want to be, you want to be on your P's and Q's when you're traveling.
Absolutely.
Even if you're a male.
Yes.
You want to be on your P's and Q's. So,
y'all, tell y'all something real quick. Listen, the black market, Oregon black market is real. And it's real in these other countries. Don't be out here being fucking doodoo brains. Understand that we are a hot commodity. So when you go into these places and you looking like you a target, this is real. So God bless, always move with the undoubtable faith, if that's a word, that God is gonna cover you. But make sure you tie your camel. Like in Islam, we have a saying that says, tie your camel and then proceed in faith. Do your work, then move with the faith of God. But it's real out here. People is kidnapping folks. People is doing organ donating, chopping you up, taking you to the butcher shop. That shit is real.
So, you gotta be scared right now.
You ain't gotta be scared, but that makes you know to be on your P's and Q's and move for the sake of seriousness and urgency.
Yeah, no. Hey, book that flight though. You gonna be all right. Book that flight. All
I know.
right.
I just turned it
Nah,
too serious.
especially if you from America, and if you from Atlanta, Houston,
Yes.
Detroit, Chicago, all them hood
Los
niggas
Angeles.
out there, book a flight
Book a
and
flight.
go ahead and put that ego down for a couple weeks
Yes.
and chill.
And
You ain't
chill.
gotta
And
be
don't be
gangsta all the
going out
time.
there and don't be going out there always trying to look for some pussy. Please, excuse my language.
Hey, look, no. We keep it real on here. Look, I really want to get all my hood niggas out so they can change their mindset.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always somebody out there better than you. And the thing about it is, if you just book that flight and go somewhere else and let go of yourself for a little bit, you probably change the world.
Yes.
And that's
absolutely.
for real.
That's for real.
You know? But hey, I appreciate you so much. I don't even have the words to give you. I'm just gonna say thank you. We will speak again.
Yes.
And for all the viewers out there, please go follow and support this woman. She is doing the Lord's work. And make sure that you like and subscribe. And if this was helpful for you, please share. And we'll see you on the next one on Making It Look Easy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you to all the viewers out there. It's time to explore the world. You know, the world was meant for you. You just got to decide what part of it you're going to take as your own. So let's get it.
Let's get it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right.